Welcome back to the podcast that rocks, weekly podcast that talks about news in the world of rock, metal, alternative, and everything in between. My name is Luke.
My name is Alex.
And my name is Rowan.
Hope you all are doing well. In the United States, this is Thanksgiving weekend, which means it's a short week for all the workers and students. Thursday will be a copious amount of eating. How is that different from other days in the States? Ha 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 ha. And then Friday, everyone's going to go shopping until they can't afford stuff and put it on their credit card. How is that different from American days? Ha 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 ha. Okay, that's the week for us in America. I'm just saying what it is objectively. Hope you are doing well. If we hit 50 likes, just like it says in the pinned comment, we will play Festival Rock or Flop, where we book a random festival. Last week was the doubleheader, where Borat said we have to do 2 days, and it was definitely the weirdest festival we've ever booked. So, maybe we'll get that again this time. Don't know. Thank you again for the super chat we already have. We will get to that at the end of the podcast. Please, we will go through all super chats, and we will make sure, Ellie Yeats, you will get one random festival for yourself. Ellie Yeet Fest, Yeet Fest works. Thank you all. My lovely wife present in his chat to make sure no one's misbehaving in the chat room. Alex and Rowan, hopefully you're doing okay. Alex, everything good?
Everything good this end.
Rowan, how about you?
I'm doing good. It'd be hilarious if just like as a channel reward, you just get like an exclusive podcast if you donate a bunch of money.
You want to donate $10,000? I will edit and update and cut your podcast. You got it.
So no, we just do an episode that only they watch.
Yes. For $10,000, we will record a custom podcast on your topic of choice. You got it. No problem. So,
if you insist.
Exactly. We'll make that sacrifice for you if you fund us, I guess. So, I do have unfortunate news for Alex and Rowan. Chat room, we were not nominated for a Billboard Music Award. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I know. But the people have spoken. And by people, I mean 3 elderly people that run Billboard. And you think that's a joke? I'm not sure it's too far off base. The Billboard Music Awards are still a thing. They have been going on for decades. People don't realize how long this has been going on. It's longer than we've all been alive. By a long shot. What's wild about this is that the rock and categories and big categories of the year, they don't exactly reflect well on the genres or the time frame they're stating they're a part of. So, and if you're confused about that, I'll be able to explain. Rowan peeked ahead a little bit before we could talk about it. He saw some of the nominees and stuff. Alex is not, so Alex will have some blind reactions to this, outside of you knowing Linkin Park has a few nominations.
Yep.
Okay, so I said all that right. I have to say, I'm more confused than I am, I don't know. I'm not disappointed. I just come to expect this from Billboard over the years. So, without further ado, let's go for the actual rock, like any category that has a rock artist in it, okay? In top duo and group, so just groups in general, Blink-182, Coldplay, and Linkin Park, Stray Kids, Fuerza Regida, I do not pronounce that properly, but we have some of the classic acts, Blink, Coldplay, Linkin Park, straight out of the late 90s, early 2000s. You know. All 3 of which did release an album this past year, though. So at least there's an argument for that. I kind of get it. This is where it gets a little hairy, and hairy's the correct word. Just put that image into your head. Top rock artist, Zach Bryan, Hozier, Jelly Roll, Noah Kahan, and Linkin Park. And for all the podcast listeners, Alex's eyes just grew 3 sizes like the Grinch's heart. Alex, any thoughts, Alex?
I think I skipped something. You said rock, but then you said Luke Bryan, so I think I missed. You skipped a little bit.
I did not say Luke Bryan, Zach Bryan. However, you are correct in the same logic.
I thought you said Luke Bryan, and I was like, what the hell? Because then you said Jelly Roll, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. Is this actually country? What's going on here?
Well, Zach Bryan and Jelly Roll are in the top rock artist category, along with Noah Kahan, Hozier, and Linkin Park. Rowan, any thoughts?
I mean, like, again, to Alex's point, it's just like it doesn't feel like there's like a lot of like actual rock. You got two country singers, and Hozier, he's rock, but he's also like a lot of folk. I don't know if you like. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not hard rock. It's not like kind of like what you think
and
of.
To be
now
fair, and to be fair, you can at least argue that Hozier is a rock artist and a rock star with what he does. There's an argument for that. I'm not saying
you're pushing it though, by definition.
Sure, you are, but at the same time, he's a better definition than other entries. So at least I can see an argument. Best rock duo or group, not just top duo or group. Top rock duo or group, the subcategory for all us basement dwellers in the rock and metal lover fan bases. There's only 3. Good Neighbors, Linkin Park, The Red Clay Strays. Just give it to Linkin Park. We already know you're going to. Don't tease 2 other bands that are going to try to fly out there because their label and publicist makes them, just to make them sit there and watch for nothing.
Yeah, I don't even know who the Red Clay Strays are. Honestly, I don't think they have a chance.
Never heard a song.
I'm
sure they're great. I have and that is not a slight against them. I'm saying I've never heard the name. They might as well just put it the top rock duo group for Linkin Park Award and just put Linkin Park's name in the category.
Yeah.
So, top hard rock artist. Okay, so this is where it falls in a little more of a category for it. Coldplay. Oh, excuse me. Yes, a hard rock, because it skipped on me for that site. Not Coldplay's not a top hard rock artist. There you go.
Confusion was warranted.
I know, but...
Yeah, can we say Billboard is a terrible website?
Billboard is a terrible website, and this is on Loudwire. They had to copy it over. Billboard had too many pop-ups, so I had to go to Loudwire to find it.
Yeah, no, don't try and open up the app on your phone. It is a nightmare.
And don't go on Chrome without massive pop-up blockers and stuff. It just won't work. Anyway. Top hard rock artist. Bad Omens, Hardy, Linkin Park. So at least 2 of them fit. Hardy is really pushing it.
That's not hard rock.
Rock.
Well, it's not hard and it's not rock.
Yeah.
Just keep Hardy and rock musicians or rock acts, and rock would be fine, not hard rock.
Even that would have been somewhat of art, but the fact that they only had him for a hard rock artist,
I know, yeah, but if they're putting Jelly Roll and the country guy, the other country guy, I don't know country. Sorry for his name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zach Bryan is the weirdest, I think. The Jelly Roll makes sense because of some of the collaborations he's done. In the rock world, that makes sense. He is kind of like that crossover guy. And he did have a couple of singles shipped to rock radio.
Sure.
And, he did the rock mix of those songs. And then Hardy did too. I'm not saying I agree with that though.
I just disagree on so much of everything right now. That's just how it is for me. However, this is going to be a Linkin Park heavy award ceremony. Top rock touring artist. Rock bands that tour. So this is pretty much for the live show, Best live show. There's only 3 nominees. Coldplay. That's why I saw Coldplay up there. The Rolling Stones. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band.
Just right away, just based on the category, I can think of so many hard rock acts who have been killing it on tour this year. And I mean doing actual events. Slipknot with their 1999.
The 20-year reunion. So many other bands did that. Last year, Ghost had a huge amphitheater tour with big
Florida to Prevail had the biggest wall of death in recorded history as well.
So they played it not only safe, but they aimed for the older generations. So.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of typical though for these award type things.
100%.
We're used to it.
We are.
Rock world
we complain about
the
we complain about the Grammys every year. At least the Grammys this year had some logic behind their metal choices and other things. This is going for the big names to get clout and attention, and it's real weird. And that's where we get to the top rock album. You ready?
I know it's coming.
There's 2 more categories that I really want opinions on, and I know Rowan probably knows what's coming. Top rock album. Zach Bryan for the Great American Bar Scene. Boy, is that a country sounding title.
That's what you feed to AI to say, hey,
yes.
I want a country album name.
It's a TikTok, like, AI-inspired jingle. Yes.
Yeah.
Zach Bryan, for his self-titled album, he has 2.
Shouldn't count.
Hosier, Unheard, the EP. That's the one that had the song Too Sweet. Noah Kahan, Stick Season, which he's indie rock, but he is a big, big name. And I at least get that one. Dolly Parton, Rockstar, the big collaboration album she released well over a year and a half ago.
I love Dolly Parton. So,
I love Dolly Parton too, but boy, is that a stretch for what that is. For even just say you want to put that on there for respect, there has to be some type of time cutoff. Over a year and a half ago, and you're doing it for 2024 awards in November?
She dropped singles.
That time cutoff I'm going to bring up later on if you cover certain categories.
Yeah.
Also, Brian, by the way, you have 2 entries in the same category. You shouldn't be allowed that.
I agree.
You couldn't pick out a single other artist.
Okay, and on screen right now, you can't see it if you're doing this, but for top Billboard 200 album, boy, is that just a pat your own back award. Top Billboard 200 album from Billboard. Thanks for making us attention, blah, blah. Taylor Swift's nominated twice for 2 albums. So,
again, especially if it's in the same category.
Yeah, it's weird.
It shouldn't count.
Yeah.
Bro.
Okay, now we get to what might make people... I love Dolly. She's even said I'm not rock. Oh, yeah, that is not a slight on Dolly Parton. Don't ever take that for... do not associate that with this podcast. No.
So we're just
concerned
about like what's the time cutoff for like these entries.
Cutoff. Top hard rock album. This is where we're going to get a little bit more discussion in because we're all going to be a little confused. So, Bring Me the Horizon, Posthuman, Next Gen. Good nomination. Totally get it. Falling in Reverse, Popular Monster. I am not a fan at all, but I get it. Okay? So that's that.
It makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. Hardy, Quit. The country rock album that leans more country. Pearl Jam, Dark Matter. Good album, safe choice. Again, big legacy name. Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden, which came out in May 2023.
Yeah. I'll say it. It's my favorite album of the ones presented. Don't get me wrong. And I love it. It's just more like, to your point, it's May of 2023. Why are you putting it in now? It's just...
Yeah. As like I've made it, no bones about it. Think that album's great. Think Sleep Token's great. How are you going to have this for awards in 2024? The date range goes from what I can tell, May 2023 to the end of this summer. That's like, a long reach.
What's the point of calling it the 2024 awards if you're accounting for more than half of 2023?
Yeah. And I see people of like questioning some of the logic and stuff. Is who is Billboard trying to pander to? Name value. They're trying to get these people to show up. Taylor Swift,
Dolly,
Coldplay, Dolly Parton. Oh, getting Taylor and Dolly on the stage at the same time just to have people freak out. That's what this is about. The rock categories and stuff, they posted them all. And there's more categories than normal. But this is not the priority. But this is also just to show you, this is really rough. Top rock song, Zach Bryan, Pink Skies. Zach Bryan featuring Casey Musgraves, I Remember Everything.
I don't know who Zach Bryan is, honestly, but I already hate him.
Oh, you want some country in your rock? Well, how about a country rock song featuring another country artist?
There's like a little bit of rock in that country. Maybe. I don't think so, though.
I do not know how to pronounce...
we use distortion guitar for these couple measures, so it totally counts as rock. Yeah.
Oh, they used distortion guitar, or they programmed their MIDI effects to push a button to do that for them. There is a difference. I don't know how to pronounce this. Joe, DJO, End of Beginning. I don't know that. Hosier, Too Sweet, and Noah Kahan, Stick Season. And top hard rock song. Here we go. Falling in Reverse featuring Jelly Roll, All My Life, the country rock, country cringe Jelly Roll brings the country, and Falling in Reverse brings the cringe. Get it? I really don't have anything against Jelly Roll. I really don't. Falling in Reverse featuring Tech Nine and Alex Terrible, Ronald, Hardy, Psycho, Linkin Park, The Emptiness Machine, and Super Heaven, Youngest Daughter.
Okay, so it came out over a decade ago. It blew up last year, but release-wise, it's...
So, who will be watching... Okay, I'm going to make a poll. Alex, Rowan, get your thoughts out. Alex, any thoughts overall of this year's 2024 Billboard nominees and why you think they're great and a respectable choice and representation of heavy music?
That is the constraints I have with my answer. I have absolutely no answer for you.
I cannot confirm or deny anything Luke Spencer said. Would you... I'm asking a poll right now. Poll in the chat. Would you... Let me rephrase this too. No one will know what you answer. You can answer anonymously, and no one's going to know. Will you actually pay attention or watch the Billboard Music Awards? For any reason.
Right now. No.
For any reason. To make fun of it? To see if something weird happens? If you're bored and on a plane and this is on one of the channels they show for free?
No.
No, I'll just stare. I'll just stare at out the window.
Honestly,
you see the memes of like people raw dogging flights where it's like you don't do anything.
No thanks. I'll just stay here and look forward. All right, answer in the chat.
Last flight.
Yeah,
I will turn into a Skyrim NPC for this remaining of the flight.
So, while you guys are answering the poll, keep in mind this is not the only ridiculous award show for music. They used to have the VH1 Music Awards. They used to have the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards for like 2 decades. Oh yeah. There's been many of these. They used to have the Golden God Awards from Revolver before Revolver really started slowing down and shut down. I shouldn't say shut down, but they really had to scale back and refocus everything. Loudwire tried to take that over, but that also kind of fizzled out after 1 year. They tried to make it big and it didn't pan out the way they wanted, from what I understand. This was all before pandemic, too. This was years ago. VMAs do not care about heavy music. It's just how it is. That's MTV, though. Music's not the priority either. And the fact that the Grammys may have a chance of showing a little bit of shine to something like Gojira, maybe, is a stretch, but possible. So I can't even say take the Billboard Music Awards with a grain of salt, because I think everyone sees what the awards are and what the artists and names involved are and the timeline. This was decided by suits trying to get attention and trending topics and hashtags and other things. It does not reflect what is currently going on or what people want.
Nope, absolutely not.
And it sucks, but this is what the rest of the music world is going to see. It's like, oh, is this what's going on in 2024? Maybe 25%. I mean, yeah, Linkin Park, Pearl Jam, these artists did have albums come out this year, and they did get a lot of attention. But yeah. Does that make sense?
Honestly,
go ahead.
Yes, it makes total sense, because it's the suits, like you said. They're the ones choosing, and they want the views, they want the ratings according to, the majority. One thing I will be super stoked about is if Bad Omens walks away with one of these awards, just so they have it, because I love Bad Omens, so that would be rad.
And also, I don't have the image up. It was a cool little thing. Rock Sound, British magazine for music, because again, they pay a little more attention in Europe, especially in UK too. Song of the year, Bad Omens and Poppy for Van, Violence Against Nature. Good choice.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Also too, no disrespect to Linkin Park, but they're in other categories. They're nominated for other categories. If you let Bad Omens just take that category, it also just kind of helps that you're just giving the newer guys some attention. So when inevitably all these legacy acts stop making stuff, you actually have someone who has a name for themselves kind of replacing them, or kind of carrying on the torch, Yeah. These will become the new big names.
I mean, considering how many awards Linkin Park has for top duo, top rock artist, just top hard rock artist. Man, that sounds like a joke I just made. Nope. On screen right now, folks. I promise I didn't make it up.
Yeah, no, it's even worse with Zach Bryan.
I know.
The hell that
At
guy
least
is.
Linkin Park does fit. You don't question it. The poll, 94% of the audience says they will not be paying attention to watching or anything the Billboard Music Awards. That was an anonymous poll, too. Anyone could have voted. There was 6% of people that said yes. Good for you. That's a good sample size, though, of heavy music viewers and listeners that don't care. So, you want heavy music to get attention, but this is the only attention they're getting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
It is. Speaking of Linkin Park and Billboard, we'll segue right into this. For all of those who were questioning how well From Zero would do, the comeback album amidst all the controversy and questions, not only did Linkin Park debut at number 1 in 10 countries, it debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Top 200. That is not a small feat for the Top 200, considering rock albums and heavy music rarely get that distinction. The fact that it's Linkin Park does make sense. My question for my co-hosts and anyone in the chat that wants to type it in, do you think the controversy and all the speculation and stuff damaged it to the point where people didn't want to listen and definitely did not want to pre-order as other albums would have and limited it from being number 1?
Well, honestly, I'm speaking from personal experience, just kind of like what I've seen, because I know people who are diehard Linkin Park fans who are excited as all hell for this album, despite everything, and still love the album. And I know people who, when they heard about everything, they were like, "Okay, I'm boycotting." But but the thing is, the people who boycotted, they still listened to the album when it came out, just so they can kind of hear how everything was or something.
Curiosity,
they were still curious, yeah. And when you kind of just think it from a business standpoint, Billboard only kind of Billboard and those types of sites, they only kind of measure how many people are listening to the album or how many streams it gets, So even if those people didn't condone everything, if they still listen to the album, the number still goes up, and that's all they care about.
An excellent point. And some people made that for Falling in Reverse. So many people listened to that new album filled with songs that came out over the last 5 years out of curiosity. Back in the 90s, the 2000s, you had no chance of doing that. If it was charting on Billboard, that means people paid for money for it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's just a thing, even if you're hate watching it, they don't care if you're hate watching it. All that matters is you're watching it.
Yeah. Oh, people hate watch me.
Gave it attention.
They did it yesterday and today with a video I posted yesterday. It happens all the time. So
not at all trying to be political. I'm just using it as an example. I remember when the Velma show came and hated that, but everyone hate watched it, so they gave it a second season.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Alex, any thoughts on Linkin Park at number 2?
I don't think the controversy really put any kind of damper on this. I mean, probably a little bit, but it would have been just a drop in the bucket because of all of the hype around this comeback and just the mass amount of, speculation and all of the pre-talks of who's going to be the new front person, all of the hype that they completely mapped out very well this entire year. I think all of that worked perfectly in their favor and completely overshadowed any controversy.
I put the controversy aside. I said that weeks ago, when we were covering all that at the end of summer. It was the perfectly laid out comeback and return from a PR perspective, from a presentation point of view. It was so well done. It's just the internet did the internet thing and found out truth and blah, blah, blah. We've covered it to death. It went number 1 in UK, Germany, France, Italy, Holland, Switzerland, Austria, Belgium, Australia, and New Zealand, and then number 2 in the United States.
Now, this is another point I want to bring up there, especially for other countries. Do you think just because of stuff like language barriers or just kind of cultural stuff, just because it's not taking place in their country, they're not up to date on the news about the band, but they're just seeing oh, hey, a new Linkin Park album, maybe not as much stuff was covered there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I would honestly say years ago, no. But I'm pretty sure most of them are aware now, especially countries like UK and Australia and things like that.
Yeah, true. I'm kind of thinking more ones that English isn't.
The countries that still Brazil still adores Limp Bizkit, and they openly say it's because they don't care about the lyrics.
Yeah, or how us here in the States, we love Rammstein, even though we don't speak German.
Correct.
But you probably don't get like a lot of news about Rammstein here naturally.
Not as much unless a new album comes out or when the controversy last year came out and all that, blah, blah, blah. I get the argument, but
yeah,
it is
just like it was something I was thinking about.
It is good news, though. Another rock band get that high on the charts. That is good. And also, it's not a trash, awful, miserable album. That's also good.
Yeah. It was a good album.
I was fine with it. I didn't hate it by any means. You know what? I can't say at any point of the new Linkin Park album, and I did a review for it, that I was like, oh heck no, what are you doing? I never did that. So
yeah, it was a good album, and I agree. It's really good to see rock get the limelight right there.
Yes, and that's in a good way. Speaking of not getting the limelight in a good way, though, you know what's not good, Alex and Rowan? When you're a struggling band and you're desperate to make some money on the road and you decide, you know, maybe if people had a little more sympathy for me, they would pay a little more because we can't make it on streaming or touring. So if I pretend to have a fatal disease, maybe people will pay me a little money to live. That's a good idea, right? This broke a couple days ago. Metalcore band Annalynn, I believe out of Australia. I could be wrong about that. I don't remember where they're from. The singer faked having cancer to get the dollars. Do I need to go on?
No.
The rest of the band was not fully aware.
This guy's a scumbag.
Yeah, the rest of the band was not aware. I want to make that clear. They found out the hard way like everyone else. So please do not direct it at those people. Back in July, vocalist Nethaphon Bon, Jutha V1, I'm just going to say Bon, revealed he was diagnosed with stomach cancer. Boy, is that specific, and that's how people die. If you remember Family Matters, growing up, Urkel's girlfriend, the one that was obsessed with him, Myra, the actress died when she was like 20 of stomach cancer.
Oh,
right?
That sucks.
Isn't that awful? Like a year after the show ended.
Ooh.
So, Grayscale Records helped and launched a conjunction with Annalynn's record for a fundraiser due to the health system in Thailand. Except that it was all crap. Bon has now issued a statement saying he had never had cancer and that he lied to everyone for money. I would like to... Okay. If I had the sad violin music, I'd hit the button. I apologize, everybody. If one of my co-hosts want to find something on Discord for a sad music, you go right ahead. Also, feel free... Also, both you feel free to just... Oh my goodness, no!
That was the only thing.
Rowan is grounded from using sound effects. Alex, if you would like to find sound effects that fit this mode, go for it. You can play whatever you want now. I would like to offer my sincerest apologies to everyone for everything that has transpired, especially for both the deception around my health issues and the false claims that were made. I deeply regret my actions and fully accept responsibility for the mistakes I have made. I am truly sorry for the harm and distress this has caused. All's well then, right? Water under a bridge?
Nice. Cool, right?
The situation escalated to the point where I couldn't see a way out. And debts, because the problems I had faced stemmed from personal financial struggles, including debts from illegal loans and poor business decisions that I failed to manage over the years. So who's going to loan sharks? How do I get out of that? I'll fake cancer.
This person is not making good decisions in their life.
And they said, I want to clarify that no one else, be it the music label, friends, my family, or my bandmates, was involved in these issues. All caps. Well, that's good. You at least drew the line and made sure no one else is getting yelled at. But your band is never going to live this down.
No. This is that infamy.
You break up for this. Yeah.
Come on, Alex Rowan, would you want to be in the same band as the person that did this?
Nope. I left the band last week, so sorry.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a certain Welsh band that the singer did something utterly terrible.
No, don't bring that up on here. No, Rowan, stop. No, not on this
Yeah.
podcast. No.
No, sorry.
We do not. Chat, do not. I'll cut. Do not in any way talk about that, chat. No.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like this, and they posted it on the Annalynn chat, stuff like that. We sincerely thank everyone who supported Annalynn throughout the years. And yeah, I got a feeling we as remaining members deeply regret blah, blah, blah. You have to move on. I'm sure the band has fans. You got to move on.
that band's not going to be around for much longer.
No.
I don't care what singer you get to replace. The name is tainted with that now. You got to change. Yep. So, sucks.
No, yeah, just form a new band with like all the other members and get like a new singer.
Yeah,
there you go.
And that's all you got to do. And that changes. It was not even to a dark way, but look at Creed and Alter Bridge. 75% of the same band members, two totally different bands. It's totally possible. It'll be fine. You got to change the name, though, and have a different everything. Different marketing. Hey,
It'll be fine. It'll be...
Step one, get a new PR marketing. Just start fresh for them, you know? So.
It might be better if all the members just wear disguises just so no one knows. It's like... it's them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
As we move on, we go into a story we've covered a couple times, just briefly. It gets weirder. Alex brought this up to me. Like, you guys both, like, presented stories to me today when I was doing stuff. More on the Van Halen front, added to the Alex Van Halen wanting to do AI, Alex Van Halen wanting an AI Eddie, Alex writing in his autobiography a bunch of other stuff. Sammy Hagar, on the flip side, who has not been easy to work with and not been the most level-headed source in the last couple decades either, wants to make peace and mend bridges and try to work things out with Alex Van Halen. Sounds nice, right?
Yeah.
Alex,
put it that way.
Yeah, hey, Alex, do you want to follow up with what Alex Van Halen said about this?
This was brutal, so I had no idea. So Sammy still wants to, bury the hatchet, make peace with Alex. In the book that Alex Van Halen released, Brothers, right? Mm-hmm. Alex Van Halen, he did not even mention any of the band's time with Sammy at all. Mm-hmm. Like,
that's so wild.
Like, he
downright evil.
You can't just ignore a very large portion of your career. You just can't.
8 years.
So, yeah, a very
if it was Gary Sharon, I would accept that.
Well, Gary Sharon ignores it too, so it's different.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
Yeah, it was wild. The only thing Alex said that had anything to do with Sammy, even in the slightest, was we had a lot of other singers over the years.
Which is
That's the closest mention.
Is that supposed to be cheeky or passive aggressive? That is such a weird, condescending statement to make.
You couldn't even just say Sam. We had Sam with us. You couldn't even use his name. Yeah.
He went further, and basically the whole synopsis from like the book and some other interviews, he's like, the essence of Van Halen died after, after Dave left or after the Dave thing. And then he just doesn't mention anybody else. And he's like, the essence was gone after that moment. This other singer that we had at one point. And it's like, dude, you're not even giving the guy his name.
Like, even if you don't like Sammy Hagar as your favorite vocalist of Van Halen, they still had a lot of success with Van Hagar, with the Sammy Hagar years. A lot.
It's still a part of Van Halen's history. A significant part of his history.
It is. That's one of the rare examples where a new singer can jump in and continue on a band and do well. Like, really well.
Immediately kill the band. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So...
sorry.
No, I was just going to say, meanwhile, Alex was there for the whole ride with his brother. Alex, Van Halen, do you think Alex Van Halen feels like a footnote in the Van Halen history?
No, I don't. I think he probably feels overshadowed. I mean,
how could he not
Eddie,
be?
Yeah, it's Eddie.
He's a good drummer, but people weren't saying oh, Alex Van Halen is one of the greatest drummers of all time, like his brother.
People did not pay money and listen to Alex drum solos like they did Eddie guitar solos.
There's definitely some,
I gotta say,
syndrome.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, at least in the article I found, they said that when Sammy and Michael Anthony performed some Van Halen songs last year, Alex said it wasn't in the spirit of Van Halen or was doing the legacy a disservice, and I just got so mad because of everything he's doing now.
Yeah.
What do you think sounds more like a tarnish on your brother's legacy? Performing some of the songs that you collaborate and made with him, just just at a concert. Or trying to recreate him using a robot. It's just... how lacking of self-awareness can you be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks to say this. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna say, Sammy even reached out to Alex and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this best of all worlds things with us? Like me and Michael Anthony, we're gonna go do this. We want you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like paying tribute to the legacy.
That's
we're gonna
a
play all
money-making
these
tribute
songs."
too. That will make money. Yeah.
Joe Satriani was tapped in for this. Like,
Yep.
this was going to be a really big deal. Alex he was, according to Sammy, he was given dozens of chances to partake in this. I don't know what the deal is here. I don't know what's going on between these two.
That's vicious too, and it looks one way. Like something is vicious going on. And I was going to say, it sucks to say this, but it feels like either every week or every other week, we have more news to dump on the potential legacy of Van Halen. So tune in 2 weeks from now, where we have probably more news to see what Alex Van Halen does next.
Dang it.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone.
Alex Van Halen's quickly becoming like a villain on this show. Just like an overarching villain.
Kind of.
Choices, Alex.
Yeah.
Choices.
As we move on, we covered a story about like a month and a half ago that Mr. Durst and Limp Bizkit are not happy about not getting their due justice and back pay from Universal Media Group and Universal, their label, from all the massive amount of money they made in their heyday from roughly the late 90s to 2000s in that pocket, where Limp Bizkit was at their peak. They're saying they were owed a lot of money in royalties that were never paid to Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst. Universal has finally responded, and they're not saying, let's go to court. They're seeking, let's dismiss this case. We have proof. Plaintiff's entire narrative that UMG tried to conceal royalties is a fiction. Plaintiff's complaints fails as a matter of law and should be dismissed with prejudice. Universal is not screwing around, and they're saying, don't even get this go to court. We'll show proof. Leave us alone. Mm-hmm. So, from what I know about the legal side of this, it's not like a slander thing. It's not a libel thing. It's more, we feel we were owed more money that we were promised. And maybe people back in the year 2000, 2001 were saying they should be making more money or they should have gotten more money. If Universal has receipts and proof of what they paid Limp Bizkit and they can prove it matched up with their contract, not only is there no case, but if it goes to court, Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit are going to have to pay for the court.
Scary is that, like, just like the statement itself, though, is just like being like, they are like, oh yeah, we will destroy you in court. It's like, I don't know, it's like when it's the big company who can afford like the crazy expensive legal team.
Universal is the evil label machine, by the way. They are one of the very big high up. When you hear the bad music industry label moniker, that Universal is one of them. That is true.
No, I'm speaking for myself here. I'd like, at least if I was in Durst's position, I'd be like, oh, who knows what Saul Goodman crap they're gonna pull or something like that to win.
Quote, according to the label's attorneys, documents included in Durst's lawsuit eviscerate his allegations against the label. They cited emails in which a UMG exec tried to get the royalty situation resolved, only to be rebuffed by the band's business manager. That's not going to go if you have a paper trail, by the way, of emails back and forth.
Yeah. This is why you always keep a paper trail.
Yes.
It's a good lesson.
Yes. It's not difficult either. It's really not. So, it does not look good for the red hat wearing crowd that loves Limp Bizkit. I don't know if he would show up to court like wearing the New York Yankees red hat and like doing the whole thing. But it's not looking great that they're going to get that money. I'm just being honest. So...
Imagine the court. Imagine that they're like, well, first, you said in your lyrics you did it all for the nookie. So, why do you feel like now you want money? If the nookie was the goal.
My goodness. Now I'm imagining the courtroom just looking like the Rollin' music video. Thanks a lot, Luke.
And Wes Scantlin is at the front table with all the makeup on and his shirt off, looking real weird. Yeah, and he's like he's just glaring at the judge. No one else, just like eyeballs, like.
He has like the black context.
Yeah.
He has just a completely
freaking everyone out. Ugh, woof.
It's like, can you please stop staring at me?
The jury's like, is this what the court system's like? This is my first time in jury duty. Is this what it's like every time?
I am really happy my postponements ran out.
I've never had jury duty. The one time I got called, I was eviscerated. I got removed because they sent to my St. Louis address and I'd already moved. So they said, okay, you can't come.
Literally, I gotta go in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited to see the artwork of this court hearing now.
The sketches, yeah.
Yeah, the courtroom sketches.
And the stenographer type-ups, like they'd have to type up everything that's said. Like Fred Durst, like trying to rap out his defense.
I imagine Durst is actually like well dressed and everything like that, but he still has just the red cap. He has like an actual like suit, and all that stuff. He has a clean shaven face, but still the red cap.
Sorry, I just don't see this doing well. Sorry, not to be a negative Nancy. I'm just saying. But as we move on, speaking of negative, and this is something Rowan sent me, and I looked into it a little bit, and it's something I've agreed with and said for years. Rowan sent me an article coming from the drummer of Anthrax and the drummer on the Pantera tour, Charlie. Believes Lars was right about Napster and says Spotify is where music goes to die. Alex and Rowan, yes or no? Is Spotify where music goes to die?
I'm going to say no.
No? Okay. How come?
Yeah. I know I'm probably speaking from a place of privilege because even though I grew up when like iTunes was like a thing and before like streaming music was like a thing, I would still like find like pretty much any song I wanted to listen to like on YouTube basically. So it's like there was never not a time where it's like I wasn't able to get the songs I wanted to listen to for free.
Okay.
To my point though, just kind of growing up and just like experiencing like streaming, it allows me to kind of like, discover a lot of bands more on my own, I don't have to rely on like, having to go to a record store, find a record and convincing my parents to let me buy it, you know?
So from a discovery perspective and from a listener and, just the person receiving it, you're saying it's not where music goes to die. From the artist perspective, the creative perspective, I would say it where it's going to go to die. It's not a viable source of income anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
Even for bigger names.
No.
If we're talking like that, probably, yeah.
Alex, your thoughts?
That's exactly what I was going to say, too. Spotify is where music goes to die. That is a valid statement in the sense that you won't make a living off of Spotify. But to Rowan's point, in 2024, unfortunately, the monster's already been unleashed. The beast is already free on the world. Yeah. How else do you discover new music?
Yep. It can't be
stopped. Good luck killing that beast, by the way.
Exactly. Like, you can't put that back in a cage.
So, I'll read the quote from Charlie, then I'll get to my comment on this, too. I take music very seriously, and what I do and what I write is very personal, and for someone to take it is not right. It's like I pay Amazon $12.99 a month, and I could just go on Amazon and I can get whatever I want. It is basically stealing. It's stealing from the artists, the people who run music streaming sites like Spotify. I don't subscribe to Spotify. I think it's where music goes to die. We have the music on there because we have to play along with the game, but I'm tired of playing the game. We get taken advantage of the most out of any industry. And what I want to say about that, there's a big argument for that too, but it's not just Spotify. I made a video years ago talking about this. Spotify payouts are it's 0.003 cents, not 3 cents, 0.003 cents per stream. One stream, you have to have at least 30 seconds uninterrupted of a song. So if you skip after 5 seconds, it doesn't count. You skip after 29 seconds, it doesn't count. To get, It's 0.003 cents. Now you're thinking, okay, but if you're a big artist, that adds up pretty quick. Taylor Swift makes a butt ton, right? For all the heavy music fans and stuff, you got to understand, that's the payouts. That's not what the band gets even. That goes first to the label. And the label gets their cuts. Then what's left over, that's what goes to the band. It's divided up. So when I say you're not getting a cent out of 1,000 streams, And maybe that's a little too far. You'll probably get a penny out of 1,000 streams, yes. When you're barely getting pennies for 1,000 streams, that's pretty bad.
Oh, it's rough.
Yep. And like someone just said, we all still use them. And it's gotten to the point now where it's really difficult. When was the last time you went to a Best Buy or even a Target, you actually saw CDs in the store?
No, I still see them, but it's like the only time I like buy like a CD or a vinyl, it's like it's an album I am specifically looking out for, and I'm owning it more as a collector at that point.
Where have you seen CDs in store recently?
Target.
Okay, Walmart. So Target has them. Okay. Walmart is probably the best example of still doing that, because Walmart will always, how do I say this? Always advertise and have something for every walk of life, including people remove the small town stuff, you know?
And you know what? Also, Barnes & Noble. The Barnes & Noble near me has an entire shelf of like all their CDs in alphabetical order.
I forget the.
And there's like
I
new
will say
albums
Barnes
there.
& Noble for sure. Yeah,
I've gotten a vinyl from Barnes & Noble. So
No, I mean CDs.
Yeah, well. I know you're talking CDs, so I'm just saying I have bought music from Barnes & Noble. Okay, so CDs are not as prevalent anymore, I guess is a better way for me to say it, to the point where it's massive walls of CDs, rows and rows like it used to be. And I think the point is, you don't have to pay even to use Spotify or Amazon Music. If you have Amazon Prime, you don't have to pay for the Amazon Music subscription. You get Prime, you have a lot of the music there for you anyway.
Well, and I mean, YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people will straight up upload it the day an album releases. The day.
Yeah.
So
even like the labels themselves, you can find, they'll upload all the music themselves.
It's like for lyric videos and visualizers, yeah.
I mean, like back in, I can't believe I'm about to say, back in my day, it was just like, oh yeah, someone did the lyrics for like a 3 Days Grace song. Yeah. Or it's like, they'll do like some sort of like cool edit or something of like Silent Hill 2 to a Breaking Benjamin song. Actually saw that more often than you think.
The thing is, I always saw like
that's when I would listen to my music.
I always saw tons of metal and stuff to Final Fantasy videos and things like that. So
yeah.
So fair enough. It's gonna be rough, and there's no solution outside of someone actually going to Daniel Ek and the labels and going, you realize this is how bad it's getting. But Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, his solution over the years has been, well, artists need to make more music. And that's what he said many times. That's pretty brutal. So,
well, see, and the crummy thing is, it's gotten so we know it's all they're all working in cahoots with each other. The label is like, oh well, so and so has 10,000 streams already, and you should definitely take a look at this artist. Like, it's all this big, well-oiled machine at this point, and it's very unfortunate. But I mean, if you do still have ways to play CDs or vinyl, or even if you're just collecting them, that's a solid way to support these artists that you really like, even if you are still going to stream them.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, something like too, if streaming helps you gain more fans, those fans in turn have more of a chance of buying tickets to see you in concert or buying your merch off your website. So it still allows you to hopefully make some money. I know I'm not trying to defend Spotify, but I'm just saying, like,
I get that.
It gives like the smaller people like some chance.
It gives the smaller people a chance, but like the actual career musicians that are trying to make it, they cannot live off the road. They cannot go home. They have to stay on the road forever. And that's, I think it's been, pandemic was the one point where an unintentional break from the road, then out of the gates as soon as pandemic was over, everybody went on concert and went on tour. But it's still going, those tours, and now tours are not selling out as well. And it's getting to the point now where there's so much burnout from so many people. Look how many bands have been burnt out over the years. Bad Omens, the singer, had to cancel out of a lot of stuff. Corey Taylor, who was doing a lot of stuff, he canceled a solo tour at the beginning of this year. So it goes to the bigger names too. So, I don't know. The point is, everything's awful, and the Billboard Music Awards don't help, and streaming doesn't help. So please leave a comment saying what you think would actually help. Let's have some positivity and a good think tank of terrible ideas to fight the machine. Ugh.
ISDD.
Yeah. I think I said that last year. Pre-order one vinyl a year, no matter what band it's for. It helps a lot. Like, that goes direct to the band. So
honestly, at least like this is like in the northeastern area, but there's like a chain called Newberry Comics that sells like vinyls.
I've heard of Newberry.
It's like a more pop culture Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I've heard of Newberry. Yeah, even buying vinyl in stores from bands that you like for newer bands and stuff, that helps a lot more.
Oh yeah, they just have like a way bigger selection and all that stuff. Like when I buy vinyls, I almost always go there because they usually have what I'm looking for.
Okay. We are starting to run out of time, so we're going to be quick on one segment. First, let's go, because it'll be pretty fairly quick. Alex, were any tours announced this week?
We've only got 3, so we'll run through them real quick.
Okay.
Sepultura officially announced their 2025 Latin America farewell tour dates. We've got the Amity Affliction just announced a U.S. tour with Hail the Sun, Many Eyes, and Solens.
Nice.
And Seven Dust announced headlining shows with Horizon Theory.
Okay, fair enough. Seven Dust is a lot of fun live, too. Go see him.
Definitely do.
Yes. Rowan, any albums coming out this Friday, the 30th?
I mean, when it comes to, like, names people recognize, not really.
Okay.
Unless we're counting Juice WRLD. Really?
Happy Thanksgiving from Juice WRLD. Okay.
Yep. Man's been dead for a quarter of my life. Yeah, but unfortunately not really like any notable names. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I got you. So, as we move on, one segment we're going to do for the rest of the year, it'll be for like, maybe not rest of the year, but for 4 weeks. As we don't have as many new albums to talk about, we're going to talk about just a 1-minute segment for each of us, 1 minute, to talk about one of our favorite albums from past decades. This was an idea from one Alex, and I'm going to let Alex go first, because we started saying, let's talk about 1 minute, just so we can all have a little discussion about some of our favorite albums, some positivity to end. Alex, from the 1980s, what's one album that you love to death and want to talk about positively?
One of my favorite albums from the 80s, hands down, has to be And Justice for All by Metallica.
Okay.
It is a great album.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, we can't, the three of us here as bassists, we can't not address the elephant in the room. That is the terrible bass on that album.
That is some savage hazing.
The non-existent bass on that album.
Savage hazing.
Rough.
That is brutal. So
that was like the definition of hazing right there. I mean, poor Jason. Come on.
I'm surprised the label let them get away with that. Yeah, no, we're going to mix out the bass entirely as a joke. More. That's the whole thing. But even so, it's still a fantastic album. And that is definitely one of the albums I can listen to front to back over and over and over and over and still dig it.
It's not complete without the bass, and it's still a classic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's
one
hard to
is...
do. Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Favorite track? Do you have one?
Oh, one for me.
Off of
this album.
And Justice for All?
Yeah, off of Justice for All.
I really like Harvester of Sorrow, but I really like Hawkins too.
Very good one.
Love Harvester's riff.
Of course. So, Rowan, as we move on, from the 1980s, what's one album you love?
You know, honestly, in their entire discography doesn't get enough credit. Slayer's Show No Mercy, their debut album from 84. Here's the thing. When I was getting into thrash metal, I thought Slayer was going to be too extreme, so sort of like I decided to listen to their first album just to kind of like test the waters, really. So I listened to that, and it's definitely like, it's still thrashy, it's still heavy, but it's definitely like different from like Rain and Blood or South of Heaven. It's just more like just straight thrash, but I still really enjoy that. And they had some awesome riffs. Fight Till Death, Cryonics riff, it goes hard. Yeah. Die by the Sword. It was just like such a nostalgic album for me. It's not my favorite Slayer album, but it's just like one that I like to come back to every now and then.
Very cool.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I picked at the very end of the 1980s, 1989, the debut of Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. This is where Trent Reznor started doing his own thing, and in a scene filled with hair metal or even thrash, Trent Reznor and company, and a lot of very talented musicians with him, said, we're going to take new wave and make it the most metallic, industrial, electronic thing imaginable. And it still holds up today with that endless production value. When you hear something like Head Like a Hole, and you hear how clean and great it sounds, how that came out in 1989 still blows my mind.
That is a great album.
It is. And that's the
Honestly,
debut. Yep.
Nine Inch Nails, that whole album just feels like a culmination of 80s music. It mixed like the dance music and the heavy music. You know what I mean?
It's heavy, but you can dance to it and kind of have a good time with it, you know? It's energetic without being this endless headbang. And it's not, and as sleazy as it feels, it's not sleazy. If that also in parts too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not hair metal sleazy lyrics, but it has that grungy, dirty vibe to it on the industrial sound. So many unique elements, and spawned a career for Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, and everyone involved. I mean, this is where Richard Patrick, also a Filter, started coming from as well, too, former Nine Inch Nails guitarist. So much happened out of 1989 from Pretty Hate Machine. So, those were our 3 80s albums that we loved. Next week, 90s. That's going to be hard for us to narrow down. But we'll each pick one, and we'll go from there.
I got mine picked out.
Okay, it won't be that hard for one of us. So,
it's not even a contest.
Okay, fair enough. I have to narrow it down a little bit for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go flip through
I'm
the catalog.
not saying there's not a lot of albums. I just know if I were to pick a 90s album, this would be the one.
Sure.
So, but that's something I thought of years ago.
So, we're going to do quickly because we did hit our like goal and then some. So we have one random festival. Then we have Yeet Festival. Thank you again for the super chat that we're going to go over right now. Super chat from Ellie Yeet. We're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. That's right. We're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. If you know, you know, chat. I don't know what that means. It just sounds like someone shouting at me lyrics to something that I've never heard, but thank you for the super chat. Please let me know in chat what that means.
Was it a political thing?
Did
someone say that at the turkey pardon?
Some cartoon.
And it was you get memes.
I was going to say, it sounds like a Cartoon Network thing, like Rick and Morty or something. It could be wildly off too. So I understood that reference. No one's saying what it actually is, though. Also, the whole if you know thing, that doesn't work that well to people you never talk to in person. Inside jokes don't work great on streams. Where people are like,
Someone said it's a movie.
It's a movie to the it's a movie reference to the movie Free Birds. Clearly, I'm out of the loop. That's my fault for not knowing that one.
Oh, Luke.
Jeez, where have I been? It's a meme. Okay, that I at least accept more. It's a meme. That's fine. Goodness. You didn't see Free Birds?
Where have you been?
Apparently, I've been way too busy.
Cultured.
I know. Clearly, I am. Ugh. So, we now have time. Alex and Rowan, are you ready to book 2 festivals?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because we got 2 things to do. Every week when we hit a like goal, we book a random 5-band festival. Out of over 200 bands, we hope for something good, and we're in the business to make money. We'll be not doing polls this time. We're just going to ask in the chat yes or no, type yes or no, if you would go to this festival. So, just to prove that I'm not cheating, we have our first one, just Rocked Festival. This will be the Thanksgiving Festival. Think of it as the Thanksgiving Holiday Festival. For Thanksgiving Festival, well, let's go here, pop this up to the right one. Bam, bam. First up, Ghost. My wife has already bought tickets. Alex has disappeared.
Sorry, I dropped my mouse.
Okay, I was sort of I said Ghost and you just ducks for cover. I'm like, dang.
Okay, I went poof like a ghost.
Someone doesn't like Ghost.
Oh, there you go. Ghost. My wife is already buying tickets. Number 2, Butcher Babies. Number 3, Queens of the Stone Age. Number 4, Electric Callboy. This is a pretty fun festival, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Electric Callboy and Ghost. My wife is going to be barricade no matter what. And number 5, Trivium.
Nice.
Yeah.
This
is a good one.
Thanksgiving festival is working.
I'm thankful.
Yeah. I'm thankful this festival actually worked out so well. We're going to make a boatload. Whatever radio station festival this is, we're making cash. So, Gretchen, my wife just said, this festival had me in mind, apparently. So, chat, would you go to this? Just type yes or no in the chat really quick. Alex, Rowan, any thoughts about Thanksgiving Fest in general?
This is an awesome festival, and I'm so excited to go.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is an easy yes.
I mean, we can't just have
question.
this in regular grounds. We have to get a big amphitheater for this one. Ghost and Queens of the Stone Age, Electric Callboy. I mean, this is pretty solid, guys. So, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Yes, nice one. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot. Someone else said thankful for the fest. Well, see, isn't that nice? There we go. I think this is a rounding success. There we go. Isn't that nice? Now we go to festival number 2. Thank you again to Ellie Yeet. Yeet Fest coming up. Band number 1. Falling in Reverse. Boy,
You're gonna have Roddy Racky at your Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my gosh! What are you thankful for? I'm thankful that I'm leaving early. How's that sound?
I'm thankful that I have gas in my car.
Number 2. Asking Alexandria. Number 3, Pup. Canadian pop band. They're a lot of fun.
DVP, great song.
Yeah. Number 4, Three Doors Down. And number 5, At the Drive-In. Goodness.
Okay.
First of all, I don't think Cedric and Omar and Backstage with Ronnie Radke would go over well, but that's besides the point. Second of all, Yeet Fest is quite the random chaos. Chat, let us know if you go, yes or no. Alex, Rowan, would you go to Yeet Fest? Because boy, oh boy, At the Drive-In, I love to death. I don't know if I would make the trip.
I do like At the Drive-In as well. My band covered one of their songs when I was in high school. One Armed Scissor. That was super fun.
Their big one, yeah.
Pattern Against User, one of my all-time favorite bass lines to play along to.
That whole album is fantastic. Quarantine and Cosmonaut, yeah. So
I still don't think I'm going to go, though. This is like all of the cranky uncles that got banned from Thanksgiving.
Three Doors Down is the divorced dad rock, and Falling in Reverse is the creepy incel 4chan using cousin of the divorced dad.
I know, yeah, but the thing is, though, I love At the Drive-In, and I like Asking Alexandria. So I'm trying to like wonder, is Falling in Reverse, is at least Falling in Reverse just like the one band where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to a restaurant, get something to eat, you know?
Have you seen Three Doors Down live?
I haven't, but my dad's a fan of them, so it's like I know their songs.
Yeah, I say this as someone who shot them in 2016 on one of their comeback tours. One of the most boring bands I've ever seen live. The singer walks around with his hand in his pockets. No one looks. Fun. Yeah, it's that type of show. So I would say no, thank you. I'll be preparing for our Thanksgiving festival. Sorry. I apologize that Yeet Fest is not exactly what it should be. That's how it works. And also, I want to quote one Gretchen, who has a YouTube channel. You can see me in her latest video as well. I'll yeet myself out of that fest. So, yeah. Unfortunate, but that is how Random Festival works. 1 out of 2 good festivals, though. Pretty good. So, thank you for joining us on this holiday week. Again, in the States, this is a holiday where Thursday we overeat and Friday we shop too much and get into debt. Ha, just like every week. Ha. Yeah, we get it. We get it. We get it, non-Americans. We understand. So, Alex, anything you'd like to say before we close up for the week?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Rowan, how about you?
I'm good. I'm just waiting for the Thanksgiving themed joke of the week.
Okay, that's coming. For those not aware, I have a new video up on the downfall of Trapped. And boy, is it wild to post a video where you actually see comeuppance and consequences for terrible actions. It's covered in the video. So, that being said, Alex, do you have anything you'd like to tell us for this joke of the week and see if you can get us this time?
What do you get when you mix an elephant and a rhino?
Elephino?
Elephino. I didn't have a Thanksgiving-themed one.
See, I was thinking you were going to have a Thanksgiving themed one lined up, so I'm thinking turkey puns or some crap like that.
Oh, okay, so I was trying to put together some turkey Thanksgiving-y type ones. They were all terrible, so you get my laughing...
Not like the Elefino one I just told, which is solid gold.
How bad is it that even you're saying it's terrible?
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's a short week. I don't know.
Does anyone have a Thanksgiving pun? You're right. I can't think of a Thanksgiving joke either. There's no Thanksgiving songs. There's no Thanksgiving jokes. You know.
Okay, I got one for you. Why was the turkey not invited to Thanksgiving?
How come?
Because he gobbled up all the food. Yeah. I know it's bad.
Why was the Thanksgiving soup so expensive?
Why?
Because it had 24 carrots.
What? Time for the ending screen. We will be closing out for the week now. Thank you very much. The comedy club will be closing down for renovations. We'll open up in 2025, apparently.
Yep. We're done. Shut us down.
Sure hope if I had that vaudeville hook, you both would have been dragged off of stage by the neck. Woof.
That's warranted. Thank you.